Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Zach, and in today's video I am finally revealing the D100 to you guys, what it looks like after the whole paint restoration project. Now, this video we will be going in the past a little bit. I actually filmed this a little while ago. If you guys have seen the update video, you'll understand why I had my surgery. I haven't been able to do a whole lot. And so I've been editing videos, getting things all done, and I realized as I was editing this video, I didn't really have a beginning to it. So I'm making it. It happens. But to take you back in time real quick, you'll remember that I was doing a complete paint restoration to the D100. I stripped it down pretty much to the bare metal and primered it, fixed up some spots, and I was getting ready to paint it when I last left off with you guys. And I did the whole paint aspect to it, and then when I went to do the reveal, as you guys will remember, the D100 decided to have a million things go wrong in one shot, and it took it out of commission for about a month and a half, 2 months. Because I had to order parts, wait for them to come, I had to diagnose different things, because a whole slew of things, which I will list here in a minute, went wrong with the D100. But I am glad to say I got her fixed, she's up and running, and I finally got that video done for you guys, so I hope you enjoy. Alright guys, today is the day that a lot of you have been waiting for, the finished product of the truck. That whole long process of sanding it, painting it, trying to fix it up the best I could to get it to a better look for me. I personally wanted to make it look better, and I have done that. So without further ado, here it is. She looks pretty good, right guys? Now, she is a little rough in some spots. This is the first time I've ever painted a car by myself and had zero help in the whole process of doing it. And honestly, it was a really fun challenge, but there were those challenging bits. There were some times where the spray gun, during the middle of spraying, it loosened itself up in certain areas, so the spray changed itself, and then I had to refix certain things, and the paint did run in a few spots, but I was able to fix it up and make it as best I could. But I am very pleased with how this looks. Now, I know a lot of y'all really like the patina. I didn't. I told y'all from the beginning. So it is now canary yellow, and I'm actually loving this color. When I first sprayed the truck, I was a little hesitant because in the garage you just have fluorescent lights, it's still dark. It looked really, really light and not that canary yellow that was in my mind that I saw until I brought it out in the sun. It actually turned out to be the color I was expecting, and it was awesome. And this whole build project was great. And one of the reasons why I did this also was to get to know the D100 a lot more, because with it I really didn't know a whole lot about the truck. I was just driving it as is, and when I finished this whole project I knew way more about this truck. And then when I went to do the original reveal for you guys, shortly after everything was all dried and cured, the truck had a ton of mechanical issues. The shifter pin for the shifter broke, the carburetor died, the spark plugs all needed to be fixed, all the wires, the cap and rotor, the fuel pump, the starting solenoid, all these things just went bad at one point. So I had several months of just kind of ordering parts and waiting for them to come and slowly putting pretty much the D100 back together. And let me tell you, she runs better than she ever has before, which is amazing. It was a complete night and day difference once I got her to actually start again and I drove her after fixing it. Oh my goodness, guys. I didn't think it was the same truck anymore. But she still rides like an old farm truck. You get bounced all over the place. She's very rough. But it was just such a fun project to sit here and do this. Now, this isn't the end of the D100 on the channel. I actually have some really cool plans in the future for this build. This truck is not done in this form. We are going to take it even further. but that is going to be over the course of the next couple of years. I'm going to be ordering parts and just kind of building my own little stash of parts to do a complete series of builds for this truck. However, because that's years down the road, there are road trips planned. I have several road trips planned where we are going to pack up the D100 and go check out some amazing places. Places that we can drive to in the D100 and just take this old vehicle and push it to its limits and see just how far it'll take us. Will there be breakdowns along the way? I guarantee there probably will be. Will there be some challenges? Yes. Will we have a ton of fun? Absolutely. So we are going to push it. Now, they will not be off-road road trips. If we find some dirt roads, then yes. But there won't be anything like I do in the Jeep, because this isn't four-wheel drive. This is two-wheel drive, so I'm going to keep her on surfaces that she can handle, and trying to take her off-road will shake her loose, and then we'll run into even more issues. But we will see later on what those entail, because I have started planning them. But those are going to be a couple months down the road, because it is now September here in Colorado. Once winter hits, it's going to be a little more challenging to get her out, just because once the snow falls, she and snow don't play nicely together. However, I need to walk you guys around and show you exactly what I did on the D100. Okay guys, let's start up here at the front. As you guys know, with this whole truck, I stripped all the old paint off. I took it down to the metal, and then we primered it. After I fixed up some spots, we primered it, and then I sprayed it. And I got all the badging back on, everything here, and this just turned out super nicely. I am super excited. And honestly, to take off the whole front of the truck really wasn't that difficult. I was expecting the grille, the lights, the bumper, and all the badging to be really difficult. And the hardest part of it all was actually the badging up here, because you can get your fingers in these tiny little holes on the underside of the hood, but that's it. You can get on it, but I can't really untwist it, and I couldn't really get a tool too well up in there, so it took some time to get these off. Now you guys will notice that up there by the windshield wipers, that piece is still gray, and the reason I left it gray was there was actually a really bad rust spot on it. So while I had been fixing it and I had sprayed the truck, I'll be honest, I ran out of paint because this truck really soaked up a lot of paint. So I left it gray in its primered form, and actually I kind of like the way it looks, and for now that's where it's going to stay. It's just like that, because it got really bad up where the windshield wipers actually connect to the truck. So right now it works for me. I'm not too upset by it. It gives it some extra character. Okay, this, in my honest opinion, is the roughest spot on the truck, and that was through the whole process of the restoration aspect. This was the roughest spot. So this door had a massive dent right here, like literally caved in dent. Somebody hit something at one point. It wasn't me. So I was able to hit out the dent as best I could, and then I tried bondoing and fixing it, and actually it turned out okay. But when I sprayed, for whatever reason, the paint did not like this area on the door. So this is truly the roughest section of the entire truck, and it's not something I'm proud of. I've tried fixing it a little bit, and I've turned to the point that I know I need professional help to fix this spot. Don't get me wrong, but honestly, you don't really notice it unless you are right up next to it. Far away or from different views, like angles, you don't really see it. So that's kind of how I justified it in my head, to make me feel just a little better. But otherwise, the rest of the door came out pretty well. I cannot complain. Now, yes, I still don't have door locks. When I did all this, I took out the old door locks because they didn't work anymore, because the tumblers in them were just completely worn out and they wouldn't lock or unlock the doors. So I do have new door locks. I just haven't put them in yet because I was fighting with the engine more than I was with the little cosmetic aspects. But that's all that it took. And then I completely repainted the top of the truck white. Now, the previous people that had the truck did an okay job, but it was still the original white from the factory when this truck was bought back in 1969. But somebody had attempted to fix some kind of spot on the very top of the roof. And honestly, I don't know what they did or what they used, but it was a pain in the rear to get off. And so when I fixed it, I just decided, like, when I got it all off, I just decided we're just gonna repaint the whole thing. So I sanded the whole top down, we primered it, and then I took, honestly, I just used a really high-end rattle can, white, that I sprayed it on there, and guys, it was I did 2 coats on it, and that was it. And then I put a clear coating over top of it to help seal it and protect it. Guys, it turned out beautifully. I absolutely love the way the white turned out with the yellow. I was very pleased with it. Okay guys, and the back of the truck is the back of the truck. The bed was the easiest aspect of this whole thing to spray. It turned out really, really well. I am not upset whatsoever. However, somebody in the parking lot did hit my truck with a door, as I'm guessing, because it's this lovely strip of white right here. And it happened actually this morning. So I just have to buff that little piece out, and hopefully it wasn't too bad. That's my hope. Now, there is one other thing on the truck that I have not fixed. You might be able to see it, but the rocker panels right down here, guys, I have not fixed it. I actually broke out all the old rust, because that and on the driver's side are the 2 worst rust spots on this entire truck. I knocked out all the rust spots and cleaned it up, and I sprayed it to help try and, with some Rust-Oleum to help try and prevent it from getting worse. But I need an actual professional shop to cut that area out, weld in some new pieces of metal for me, because I wasn't going to sit there and attempt to, bondo it back together or just kind of half-assly do it. I wanted to make that good. I wanted to have that professionally done, because I also need the driver's side floor pan cut out and a new one welded in, because that is really rough. Now, inside the cab, I did sand out. I took out the seats, I sanded out the floor, and I sprayed some rubberized Rust-Oleum throughout it, which, 1, helped freshen it up, makes it look way better, and 2, the rust on the driver's side, like I said, guys, that is the second worst spot in the whole truck, that floor pan, which is actually really common on these old Dodges, which is getting really bad. So I wanted to take some action. And also, as you guys know, I did spray the frame. When I took off the bed, I did sand down the frame and respray it so it is rubberized and protected, and I actually crawled up underneath and did most of the frame underneath the cab as well, just to freshen it up, because it had a lot of surface rust, and I wanted to make sure that it was structurally fine, because like I said, guys, until I did this project, I had not dug into the depth of the D100 to see what was wrong and what wasn't. Well guys, that is the D100 in its new glory. I am very pleased with the whole process. It was a really fun learning experience for me, and yes, though there are some rough spots, eventually they will get fixed and be professionally done. But for the fact that I was able to do this for less than $1,000, guys, I did the whole paint restoration for under $1,000 by myself, and got to learn all these different things about my rig. That was valuable knowledge that is worth more than what it actually costs to do this. So I now know the ins and outs of this rig, and like I said, once we do our road trips, we'll learn even more. I'm super excited to actually be able to take this thing out and see what it'll do, but that is for later on down the road. So thank you guys for joining me today on this, finally that final episode of the restoration for the D100, guys. I'm sorry it took so long. Can't help it when she wants to be a mechanical pain in the rear. But thank you guys for joining me. The links to my other social media accounts are in the description below. Also a link of parts that I've used on the Jeep, and I'll put a few things on here for those that actually have some form of old Dodge that are looking for things. I know it's challenging to find them, so I'll put some of the parts in the description below. Otherwise, guys, thank you all for joining me, and I'll catch you all later. Take care.